everyone, I'm Joanne, the creator of Layla's Light Abstract Art. Today, I'm going to share with you how I've created my very own oracle card deck by using my abstract art. Now, before I go into it, I'm going to explain why. It's because if you actually go to my shorts, you're going to see that every week, I'm going to dedicate myself to upload my weekly oracle card reading every Saturday if I can't help it, and maybe Sunday. But the point here is this: I want my art to share the light and bright message to the world. And this is why I came up with this idea of, you know what, I should actually use my abstract art to create an oracle card and to make a reading and to give it out to everyone to see, like, you know, what is the message of your highest good is each week. So if you actually like tune into it, you're going to see that I've created like a series of it right now. And I'm still in like my fourth video reel this week. So I'm also in the process and in a journey of, like, you know, building my community here. So I would really appreciate it if you can click subscribe or like into like the video, because this is how I am going to reveal what I did step by step to create this very beautiful oracle card deck. Okay, so if you can see here, yeah, you're going to see that I've created a deck called Abstract Healing Codes, right? And the reason that I initially thought of this name is because I really had to think about like what really resonated with my message as an artist. And the two things that really came out is this. First of all, I love bright colors. Like, it's just the life of me. And the second thing that I really am into is spirituality, right? So that's how I combine my two loving, deep, passionate mantra together and to embody it in the canvas and everywhere that I go or like what I do. The part that I wanted to really share is this. I'm born in Bangkok, Thailand. And in this place, the energy vortex is very much quite, in the sense, I would say like religious or like very much into like spirituality in that sense. So I actually grew up with a lot of like understanding of how it works in the first place. And so it comes like a second nature or it's actually like embodied in my DNA that we like to understand more of like a supernatural or like a energetic kind of things that's around. I hope it makes sense. But in any case, the point here is this. I like to go look at fortune telling since I was young. And I explored so many mediums of like how people do it, you know. Maybe people can just tune into your energy. There's like tarot reading, but this specifically is oracle card reading. And if you don't know what's the difference between like a tarot reading or like an oracle card reading, is this. A tarot reading or a tarot deck is a very set of specific symbols. So you might have seen like tarot decks with I don't know, the world or like swords or cups, you know, like all those very specific symbols, right? But in oracle card, you actually can create whatever you want, how many things that you want, and you actually make meaning out of it by yourself. So I believe that it's so like in resonance with my soul, because like abstract art is all about like freedom, right? There's no conformity. And so I believe that by me trying to embody what I love, art, into oracle card, it absolutely makes sense for me. When I started the journey, I woke up one day and I felt something in my soul saying that, Joanne, you have to start creating your abstract oracle card. And I'm like, what is this within me? I remember like sitting in Phuket because I was there like on a holiday, took my laptop out, and then I start to pile every paintings that I've done in the past 4 years into Microsoft Word. It's as simple as that, right? So for example, I put in Moonshine. It's like one of the collections or like one of the paintings that I have. And the way that I do it is this. When I finish a painting, I have to name it or I have to title it, right? And I would tune into like each energy of like the painting and see what is the title. So that's what I was doing. That's what I was just like, you know, starting doing. I put in like 44 paintings in a row into like my Microsoft Word, like as simple as that. And then I started to alphabetically kind of like line it up. And I still remember in that process, like I didn't even know like what I'm supposed to do with it. But all I know is that I needed to go to find someone who can actually help me create like this design box, right? Or like this kind of like beautiful design, which I can't do it because like I'm not tech. I'm physical painting. And I was actually led to go to Upwork, and there I find someone that really resonated with my soul. I did like lots of interviews as well to find out like who's perfect for like this job description. And once I was getting into it, I actually made a prayer as well, asking like, the person who's supposed to help me will be of my highest good. So I received that help, and it was so magical because she was so understanding of like the project that I really want, and she really resonated with like the spirituality side of things as well. And that's why like we were able to co-create together. Now I think this project, off from like from the beginning into like the end, probably was around like 3 to 4 months. But if you include the paintings that I've painted, so it's like 4 years and 4 months, right? So now, but I really think about it, I thought to myself that the number 44 is such like in resonance with my soul, that I believe that it's the right amount of how do I say this, amount of like cards or like deck that should be put into like this first oracle deck that I've created too. Now going into like how I actually give meaning more into the cards, right? Like for example, my first one, Angelic Realm. I had to further tune into what it means to me. And I actually like write it in Microsoft Word further to see what it meant for me, right? Like for example, this is what happened. Sorry, this is like a pilot kind of like book that I've created, and I really love it so much. But as you can see, when it's pilot, it means that it's not like kind of like tied in together. But the ones that I sell, they're like tied in together. But in any case, I just wanted to share that this is what I've written, right? The angelic realm part. Yeah. And when I tune into it, I told myself like, okay, what is this meaning of it? What does angel or angelic realm means to me? And from that, I just like, started like typing out what I really think. And then I didn't even have to think much about like what is right or wrong, because I don't believe in that concept as much anyways. I just felt like what needs to be channeled through me will be the perfect thing that anyone needs to hear in any case, right? And so what happened to me was that I was in a state of flow, such a flow that I need to kind of like write or kind of like tune into like all like the card decks nonstop until like 11 p.m. when my mom came down and like, are you okay, Joanne? Like you're like literally not sleeping, or like you're literally like not resting at all when you're doing like this oracle card deck. And I told her like, I can't breathe if I don't do it. And the only way to actually have that less anxiety is to actually finish this project. So that's how I felt that it was such like, in a way, like might not be healthy, but in a way I realized that I was so called to really put this oracle card deck to the world that it was like a life or death mission for me. So I kept on doing it until I finished it. And once I complete all like the meanings and like the description of like the book, I actually hired another person who proofread what I've done. And the next step that I did was that I was thinking if I should go to like a publisher or I should like publish by myself. And at that time, I was also thinking that, look, if I go to a publisher, then I have to give up a lot of fees, right? And I personally believe that this is actually like a flow state, like a fun project for me, rather than finding money to sustain my living. So I went and I opted to the route of going to do everything by myself. So the next step, when I was clear of what I want, is this. I went to find a printer, like a guy who can like print my oracle card in Bangkok, Thailand. And then afterwards, like what happened was that I also got introduced into like online manufacturing deck. And I actually like really tried to do it by myself, because I believe that it could be less cost, and then it might be less capital intensive, because if someone ordered, then I can just like press click and then the order would come, right? But at the end of the day, I really have to admit that my capability of doing that is super low. So I decided that, you know what, I'm just going to like go for it. I went to the guy who could print like my abstract deck, And then the next thing I know is that we were talking about like the flexibility of the minimum amount of what I can create. So I think I've created the first lot around 300 decks, and he was super kind, and he was like, giving me like, advice here and there and recommend me like what is best, in terms of like black and white or like colors or like the size and things like that. But it was a very, very beautiful journey because the guy who printed for me actually understand what I needed as well. So it got like super simple and it was really easy. And the moment that I received my Oracle card deck, like lot for the first time, I was so ecstatic because it felt like I've accomplished something that is meaningful and that this is going to be something that I'm going to share with the world. Now, back then, I didn't realize that I was going to do an Oracle card reading. All I knew is that I wanted to sell this. I actually want people to, kind of like use it as like a spiritual friend tool to accompany that person in their journey. So I started to do Instagram ads, and I was able to sell quite nicely. And the feedback I receive is that some people, actually like majority of them, say like how healing it was. And one person even told me that she put this or like my Oracle card deck near where she sleeps, and she felt like such healing energy out of it. And some lady mentioned how much like when she actually got the Oracle card deck like on in front of her, and her tears start like to pour out because she felt that it's super healing. And me personally, when I actually needed some guidance or like clarification, when I shuffle the decks and it comes out, sometimes I really love it and sometimes I don't like it because the message is very potent. And just so you know, within like this deck, I create like a very definite answer card. The one is yes, and the other one it's called it's a no. And the reason for this is that I believe in having certainty to some degree, because sometimes like in the Oracle card deck, it's just very vague, but I really did try to create a yes and no card just in case someone wants to have a definite clarity on the answer, and you can actually like seek it within this deck too. So this is it's a no, and this is yes, yes, and yes. I've realized, I was talking to like one of my friends, and that got into me thinking that I should start do a card reading. The reason is because I was actually called to do a duo reading with my friend. So she's doing a tarot card reading, and she was like, Joanne, I see that you have like your Oracle card. Would you want to do a card reading with me for a client? And I told myself, like, I don't know how to do like Oracle card reading. Like, are you joking me? She's like, try it, Joanne. You are the creator of your Oracle card deck. You are supposed to be able to read it. And I was like, yeah, she's right. Like, I'm supposed to be able to do it. What was I thinking? So I piggyback off her a while, and it got really fun because like she will do her tarot card reading, and then it would end off with my like Oracle card reading for like a client too. And then at the end I realized that, oh, this is something that I can really share to the world. And the next thing I know is that I told myself that I should be starting to give like Oracle card readings like on a weekly message to reinforce my message of what I want to bring to the world, right? And that's how I came about my weekly card reading, I think since last year. And I believe that my readings somewhat help people too, because I get feedback again, because that's how I like read the signs of the universe. When they say, Joanne, like, sometimes I don't know how you do it, but the message just comes right at the moment and the right time. And I'm like, well, it's meant for you anyways, right? So whoever tune in and whoever like sees it, it's actually like a timeless reading, then it's really just meant for you. And by the way, of course I have to say this, but I still have my Oracle card deck for sale. It's $45 for a deck. So if you're quite interested in receiving this beautiful Abstract Healing Codes deck that is made by Divine Grace and dedication, then please do let me know. You can actually go to my website, and if you have any other questions about like the deck itself, like please just message me. You can reach out to me on email, or you can go to my Instagram and DM me as well. Like anything is fine. I'm more than happy to help and answer your questions as well. So anyways, guys, I hope that this message is in resonance with you, and that if you subscribe to my channel, you'll see that I do update every weekly now shorts on my Abstract Oracle Healing Coach reading. And for this week, I would particularly say that it's a very short and sweet message, and maybe this is for you too, is that whatever that you wish for, that you want to do right now, then please ask your angels, guardian angels, God source energy, your ancestors, like whoever that you pray for a very specific help. And that by that token, you will be able to achieve what you want in this week. So I hope this is like a secret message if you actually like hear it to until the end, and I hope you get what you wish for and you claim it with all your blessings. All right, guys, thank you so much for hearing me out, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.